a whole host.
Critical thinking. Do you see that benefiting you the most if you were to be a mayor?
I would hope so. That's what I have my doctoral Auburn dissertation is organizational psychology and my master's in human behavior. So I would hope that those criteria would assist me.
I did just get a text from the gentleman who was supposed to operate the board for us this morning. He is alive. He is uninjured, and just unfortunately wasn't able to get here to handle this morning. So, again, I do apologize that we weren't able to do Facebook Live. But at least he's safe and in good condition. That was good to know. We were kind of worried about that this morning. Talk about your motivation for seeking this seat. Was there a specific issue that came up?
It's terrible. My primary issue is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the demographics of Villa Rica is very unique because, of course, we're two counties in one, Douglas County and Carroll County. And our diversity and population has grown astronomically. We're actually 38% African-American, 12% Hispanic, and so on. But yet our municipal local government does not display or represent that bulk of our population. And how can you say that you're addressing all of our citizens and residents' needs if we don't have a seat at the table, if you will? So that was one of the biggest things that motivated me, along with listening to my neighbors and friends and being observant, putting my ear to the ground and seeing what's been going on the last 6 years since I've relocated and purchased my home in Villa Rica. I definitely feel that there's a need and opportunity to have unique ideas and perspectives to grow the city and evolve, because the city is growing. That's inevitable. And I want to be that mayor to actually welcome that growth, that diversity, and support it.
I hate to distract from the conversation. This will be the last time I do it this morning, but I think you'll like this. Okay. Our camera guy, Joel Brock, has rigged this up for Facebook Live this morning.
Awesome.
So we are on Facebook Live. I'm guessing that's the camera right there. So if you are listening to us on the radio and you'd like to check out our candidate and myself on the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, you can look in on our conversation and also offer some comments and questions, and I'll take a peek at that on the Facebook page here in just a little bit. You did talk about having a seat at the table.
Yes.
What do you think is the role of mayor, and do you think it's a equal seat to city council based on the Villa Rica charter?
Our role as mayor, specifically in Villa Rica, it is limited, of course, because of how the procedures are, but it's to support, and my role, the citizens and the residents of Villa Rica, to find consensus with the council and move forward and do the people's business, if you will, and support that in any way necessary. My goal, like I've had potential constituents come up to me and ask, are you a Democrat, Republican? I said, I am a resident of the city of Villa Rica, and my only goal is to do what's best for the city of Villa Rica. So that's going to make people probably on both sides at times a little bit uncomfortable, but my goal and focus is to make our county better as a whole.
There's one candidate out of the three who's not shy about suggesting, hey, I do have experience on that, on city council and government. Do you think, how do you turn that around to say, is that better that he does have the experience on city council, or do you see that your experience in life?
I see that, it's not a here nor there, to be respectful about it, because I see it as it's a limited experience. It's 3 years, and it's great that you do have that. But that being said, the question is, what have you done for the entire community pertaining to Villa Rica? And my experience of working with a whole host of different diversities, being in the military, different personalities, different religions, different beliefs. At the end of the day, the goal was to complete the mission. And for me, the mission is to make Villa Rica work for all our residents and address all of our residents' needs, from our citizens that live in Claiborne to the ones that live in Mirror Lake to the ones that may live off of Punkintown, wherever we are. So we have to be a representation for the entire city, not just part of the city.
What are you doing to get the word out? Are you going door to door? Or are you sending out?
That's a good question. The team has been doing a whole host of things. We've been canvassing, we've been phone banking, we've been doing town halls. Actually, I have a town hall this Saturday, October 19th, at Pastor Foster's Church, the Assembly of the Saints, which is off of Claiborne Street. So that community has not been reached out to, from my understanding, from any of my candidates. And I'm going to be the first to do that because, again, I want to be representation for the entire city of Villa Rica, not just one part of it, because it's my belief we are only as strong as our weakest part of the city. So if we have one part of the city that's not in strength socioeconomically, then that's where we need to focus our attention to, because we're as only strong as our weakest part of our city, our town.
Along those lines, as far as being part of the entire city, I mean, Villa Rica is that unique city where it's separated into 2 counties, and I believe all 3 candidates live in Douglas County.
I'm not sure, but I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, are you finding any kind of difficulty communicating on Carroll County side? I mean, because perhaps you're not as well known, in Carroll County.
Actually, I haven't, because I have a great support team, strategy team, and the bulk of them are on the Carroll County side. I have Dr. Brooks and others who've born and bred Villa Rica and raised there, and they know.
And everybody knows Dr. Brooks.
Absolutely. She's one of my mentors, and everyone knows her, as well as others, Mr. Kwasi Hudson and other individuals that have been quite supportive and giving me feedback and letting me know, basically putting their ear to the ground and saying, this is what holistically the community needs on all angles and where we think you should be having your voice heard. I've been at the Mill, part of the community, doing guest speaking events. I just did one last Saturday with Harambe Community Activist Center at the Mill. Again, I have my town hall this Saturday. Then the 23rd of October, next Wednesday, actually Douglas County High School students, their senior student ambassador invited me to do a town hall there. So it's a whole host of me reaching all angles of residents, from the young age, 18, all the way to the older, to the disabled, to the healthy, just what have you, the gambit. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a voice, and I want everyone to have a seat at the table.
Before we take our first break here, we'll get into bigger topics, bigger issues in the second and third segment of the program. But what do you see right now is the biggest concern for the next 10 years for the city of Villa Rica? To be mayor, that's a 4-year chunk.
Right. The first thing we need to tackle, obviously, is our water and sewer situation. That's just what it is. We cannot kick the can down the road anymore. It's pretty much we have to pay the piper, literally, to get our pipes fixed. So that's the first priority. Another thing that we need to work on as part of my platform is rebeautification of downtown, make it more welcoming with maybe a green walk pathway where it connects to from the V-Plex to downtown, as well as maybe from the Mirror Lake area coming downtown. Of course, more parking. It's very difficult, especially when we have like great events at the Mill, to actually find somewhere close by to get engaged and park instead of us just driving through downtown. Actually be more encompassed downtown and enjoying it. As well as, of course, we do have an uptick in crime. That's going to be an issue that I would love to support our current chief with and provide him the additional resources that he may need in funding and support his avenue on that. As well, of course, I'm a disabled vet. Just recently, I noticed more homelessness for whatever reason, and that's concerning to me. So I do want to continue to support a resource center for homelessness as well as disabled vets to get more knowledge and understanding on what qualifications and eligibility that they have and that they're entitled to, that they, for whatever reason, don't know, so we could possibly help them out. And then, of course, one of my biggest ones is supporting the youth center. The council a few weeks ago just approved a major development that's going to start in the near future. And part of that development, other than the senior citizen system, that's going to be awesome for our downtown. They're also planning on developing a YMCA. And I'm very excited about that for the youth ages 13 to 16, because that goes into a little bit some of that nuisance of crime, because youth don't have anything to do. They're creative. We were young at one time. We're going to find something to do, which may not be in the best interest of the town. So give them something positive to do as well, and for the entire family. So those are just some of the little snippet of things that I am looking forward to supporting and advocating for when I'm on the council.
And advocating for the homeless, I don't know if you want to call it a shelter or
more of a
program?
resource center, an outlet, if you will, to push them in the right direction to move them forward. Whether that if they need assistance, if they're a vet, where we can possibly let them know and provide information for them, maybe be a liaison to connect them with who they need to be connected with a lot of times. Because a lot of our vets have mental health issues due to PTSD and other things pertaining to the wars and experiences we've experienced, and have a hard time joining society again, if you will.
Would that be city operated, or you see that maybe a donation to a nonprofit that you would hope to operate it?
I'm looking at the nonprofit because I know they're really good at that, and supporting whomever would want to probably get that started. I've actually met some individuals who are on that pathway now, and when they heard about that being part of my platform, wanted to talk to me offline about possibly, some ideas on it. So I'm excited about it. And they're actually veterans themselves that came up to me and said, that's crazy because we've actually, a couple of us, been trying to figure out how to do this.
Dominique Conteh, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. She's one of 3 candidates running for mayor in Villa Rica. Early voting has already started.
It has. It started this Monday, October 14th, and it will go through November 1st. And then general election will be Tuesday, November 5th. And if you're trying to early vote, which I strongly encourage, if you're on the Carroll side, of course, they know they have to come down here to Carrollton and go to the Board of Registrations. And if you're on the Douglas County side, you need to go to the Douglas County Courthouse.
If you have a question or comment this morning, feel free to post it on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I'll take a peek at it during the break. We got a little late start as far as our Facebook Live program this morning, but you can go there now and visit it and see our candidate, and again, share your comments and questions on that page. 8:43 right now. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
Oak Mountain Academy has offered a challenging college preparatory education for over 50 years. With over 500 graduates, we have maintained a 100% college acceptance rate. Over 90% of our students earn acceptance.
And welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're also streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can see my guest here, Dominique Conteh. She is one of 3 candidates running for mayor in the city of Villa Rica. You mentioned the water issue, which is the biggest issue for Villa Rica. We've talked about it many times during local news and on this program. The city had an opportunity to collect additional tax money here recently. When they had a chance to choose to vote on the millage rate. They decided to roll back the millage rate. They saved taxpayer money, but what do you feel about that as far as that money being used towards something like the water?
I actually disagree with them rolling it back because, again, I feel like that's pretty much kicking the can down the road because next year we're going to have to roll it back up, if you will. We're going to have to move it back up. So in my opinion, we should have just kept it where it was and just dealt with the pain at that point because our residents are going to feel it shortly either way. So I've always campaigned and I continue to state I'm going to say some things and do some things that may some people are not going to like at times because I'm focusing on the holistic citizens of Villa Rica. So there's going to be people on both sides that may say, well, I don't feel she's doing what I want her to do, or I don't feel she's doing what I want to do on that side. But at the end of the day, if both sides are upset with me, that means I'm doing my job, because that means I'm working for the residents of the city of Villa Rica. And this is a nonpartisan position. So my focus is what's best for the city as a whole, not what's best for any particular party.
I think people are hopeful that this the North Loop project, when that eventually comes around, that's going to solve some traffic issues.
Right.
I guess
I know they've been working on that.
The biggest traffic problem in Villa Rica is probably on Highway 78, right? Is that?
From what I've been hearing, actually, it's been the connection with I-20.
Okay.
That's been an issue of late, but 78 as well. So
you can't really do anything about 78.
Right, not really. But I've been hearing feedback, well, they feel like, crime is increasing because of maybe what's going on with individuals moving closer to us because of the I-20 connection. But like you said, only thing we could do is try to be proactive as best we can. But we really can't, as a city, stop people from commuting that way and coming up through us who don't want to stay per se in Atlanta because it's expensive. So West Georgia is becoming quite attractive to a whole host of people for different reasons. And unfortunately, as you stated, when growth occurs, traffic and a lot of other things that we maybe don't really want, we have to combat and deal with as well.
Is there anything that Villa Rica is not promoting as much as they should? I mean, like a resource they have that they're not taking advantage of?
That's a good question.
It's a little out of the box. I just want to even promotions. We talk about the Gold Mountain Museum.
Right. I'll say
what
this.
About Coca-Cola. I mean, Asa Candler's a lot of
our tourists. That was one of my interview questions. I can't remember what particular media outlet had asked me that a while ago. And as did we as candidates feel that our, tourist agency that we have for Villa Rica is doing the best they can to attract individuals to the town or what have you. And I stated that we're doing a fair job at that, but there's always room for improvement in anything, because as you know, the more attraction we get to our city, that brings in more dollars, and that would help at the end of the day with our, revenue, of course. So there's always things and ideas, I believe, personally, that we can do to bring more positive attraction to our town, for us to receive that attention, that acknowledgement, because I don't know if you're aware of this. Our city manager had spoke to the council and the public a few weeks ago and stated that we needed to grow as a city by 2,100 new residents by 2025, or we're going to have to, as a city, start paying more taxes. So we have to do a whole host of things to gain attention to the right type of individuals, if you will, to grow our city and meet the needs that we need for our city to continue to be healthy.
10 minutes before 9 o'clock. Our guest this morning is Dominique Conteh. She's one of 3 candidates seeking the seat for mayor of Villa Rica. Questions and comments, encourage you to post them on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I'll take a peek at those during our final break, which is coming up right now. 10 minutes before 9 o'clock. We'll have more Community Voice after this.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
A well-rounded education includes much more than just academics. At Oak Mountain Academy, we encourage our students to find their niche in any of our 42 co-curricular opportunities. Over the past 5 years, we have brought home 5 state and 20 regional athletic titles. Our one-act play and literary teams continuously compete at the region and state level, and our academic teams bring home first place more than not. We are warriors creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
8:52. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. Also streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Our guest this morning, Dominique Conteh. She's one of 3 candidates for mayor for the city of Villa Rica. We haven't reached out to the other 2 candidates, haven't set a date for them up till now, but the invitation is open for them to reach back out to us at this point. I do appreciate all of you checking in on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Sean Paul says hi.
Hello, good morning. Good early morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, let me get out of the box a little bit here.
Okay.
Vaping has been in the news a lot.
I've heard about that
over the last 2
right.
months.
I've actually talked to my son, who's 19, about making sure that because he has some friends that he knows that does that, letting them know the dangers of that, because it was advertised for a long time as a substitute, if you will, something more healthier to help you stop your other habits, but it sometimes when they say you experiment or a new product comes along and ends up being worse than the original. So I've heard that is not healthy and quite dangerous.
Well, critical thinker that you
Yes.
are with that degree here, I suppose you might see possibly 2 angles. I'm hearing a lot from the vape shops that, they're defending it. That
Of course.
That's the bootleg version that it is, and the stuff that they use and sell normally is
Right.
okay and healthy. Based on the news, there are municipalities, communities who are banning outdoor use of that. It might be banned in restaurants and things like that already. But if there was a proposal discussed among City Council, would you be in favor of banning outdoor use or public use or private company use?
Well, the first thing I want to do is do my homework. As a professor, we know how to research. So I would need to get all the information gathered up as possible to make a wise and knowledgeable, intelligent decision. But I would have an open mind, a fair mind, and hear all aspects of it before I make a decision. But my decision would obviously, at the end of the day, be based on what's best for our youth. As I have 2 myself, 13 and 19, that would take precedence as well to figure out what's best for our children. And after I did my research, depending on however that came about, that would help with my primary decision. But just like you said, just hearing little snippets about it recently, I do have concerns. So I definitely would like to get more information about it before I make a decision.
8:54. Are you familiar with Airbnbs?
I am.
They're not regulated in the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia doesn't regulate them at all, and they kind of leave it up to the local municipalities and local governments. Would you be in favor of Villa Rica doing, regulating, whether that's a way to, I guess accumulate additional money? I can't imagine it would be a giant fee, but it would, they'd be somehow documented. Would you think that's something important for a local municipality?
I think that would be something positive for the city and possibly bring in more lucrative, if you will, revenue. Anything, like I said, I'm open to anything that will help build revenue and capital for our city. I'm all for Villa Rica to gain the access to additional funds and think outside of the box to do that. And that may help, again, with tourism as well.
And it's a health and safety aspect as well to keep that. We got about 5 minutes left here on the show. What do you want to make sure that our listeners in Villa Rica know about you this morning? Something we may not have touched on, maybe something you've learned over the last month where you've been campaigning and talking to potential constituents.
One of the things I always get is people want to know, well, where have you been? How long have you lived here? Again, I've been here in the city of Villa Rica since 2013. I'm a homeowner. As I stated on another interview, my first priority, as I support anyone who has a family, is to your family. So my first and focus and my primary goal has always been to make sure that my kids were okay, because I'm a divorced single parent. So my goal was, and focus still is to make sure my kids were okay, making sure I did what I needed to do as a parent, as an educator myself, for my oldest son to get accepted into college and, do well on his SATs and ACTs. And that takes, as you know, of your parent, time and focus. So that was my priority. But I also, as a resident here in Villa Rica, want the public to know that I love my city. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud to be a part of it, to have the opportunity to represent it. Of course, it would be historic for my nomination and election to be elected as the first African-American mayor, male or female, to the city of Villa Rica.
First elected female as well, right? That would be.
I believe so.
Yeah, Shirley Marchman did fill in temporarily.
Yes, and Ms. Shirley is also right now the mayor pro tempore as well. And I would like for them to support me, not just because of those attributes, but because of who I am as an individual altogether. I encourage them to look at my Facebook page where it has information about me. I have 4 degrees. I'm a mother. I'm a veteran. I'm a friend. I'm a daughter. I'm a whole host of things, and wear all different type of hats for different individuals. But at the end of the day, I care about our town. I care about the growth and the evolution of our city because we have to evolve. The genie's out of the box. We're going to continue to grow. The question is how do we manage the growth, and how do we make the town more welcoming to all platforms, all individuals? And that comes with being open-minded, fair-minded on how we can substantially grow and embrace the diversity and the growth that's in our city.
Would you have sought this seat if Jeff Reese sought re-election this year?
I actually was planning on doing it either way. I didn't know that he was not going to run, so I would have been on the ballot either or.
We got about 2 minutes left in the show. Say you don't win. I don't know. Think about that. But
right.
if you wouldn't win this race, would you be more involved? I mean, more visible?
Absolutely.
In the city?
Absolutely.
Perhaps be part of committees or anything like that?
Absolutely. And it's been wonderful to get the feedback from our citizens and residents who are saying that their kids are looking up to me as a role model. And it's a great responsibility, a great honor with that. It's like with the Spider-Man little motto, with great power comes great responsibility. And I take that seriously. Absolutely.
And real quick, if people want to get in touch with you, learn more
yes.
about you, what is that Facebook
page? They can
page
contact me personal message or on my Facebook page at Conteh for Villa Rica Mayor. They can call the campaign phone number, which is 678-922-9294, and they can email me at contehformayor@gmail.com.
And let me say, Conteh is spelled Conteh, just
yes.
in case.
Conteh. Yes, sir. You got it.
Well, Dominique, it was good to see you. And I appreciate
thank
you
you,
coming
and thank
out
you
this
for
morning.
inviting me. Absolutely.
And I'm glad we got the Facebook Live
Yay.
going. Thanks to
and please go vote. Don't wait. Go do it now.
Absolutely. Early voting continues this week. It's next week and the week after.
Yes,
I believe it's 8
it's
o'clock
all the way
till
to
5
November
o'clock.
1st.
And if you're a Carroll County resident, you can do it here in Carrollton.
Correct.
Otherwise, you can wait till
in
Election
Douglas
Day.
County, you go to Douglas County Courthouse.
And otherwise, you can wait till Election Day and do it at your precinct. So,
right.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming in this morning. We do appreciate you tuning in and listening to the Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. And if you missed any of the program, we're going to post it on our website, newstalk1330.com. The video will be on Facebook forever. News Talk 1330 WLEB Facebook page is now 6:59. Stay tuned for national news, local news, and then Glenn Beck is on the air from 9 until 12. Have a great Thursday.